Oh wait, what?
Watch my grandma call me. In the middle of this. I'm like, fuck! Damn it, woman! You just fucked my whole shit up!
Okay, so last call for questions for Gabi Burgholzer before we do this thing. Just go ahead and shoot him in.
Get comfy.
I feel like this is better if it's higher.
If what?
I'm higher now.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hurt my leg as much.
There we go. Do you just like prop your foot up on something or? I got you. I got you. We can move you forward. There we go. Your fabulous little hairs. All right, here we are. We're doing the thing. We're just gonna jump right into the shit and start asking questions. Junkyard, you're the man with the questions on the sheet.
Okay, so question from Lexi from the Battle Axe.
No, wrong Lexi.
Oh, wait, no, wrong Lexi.
Alexander, she
Alexander.
won. She got
Okay, so
first place in Tampa Bay Strongman
Lexi
Classic
questions
with
are
me.
this Lexi? Okay.
They were both her, yes.
Okay.
Lexi is fucking darling and she's wonderful, and she did Tampa Bay Strongman Classic with me last year.
Shout
in
out to
Novice.
Tampa Lexi, Battle Axe Lexi, you're cool too.
She's fucking cool as shit.
Okay, so this Lexi wants to know if you ever have jitters, or if you have ever had jitters, and if you still get them.
I'm assuming like competition jitters.
Competition shows, yeah, absolutely. Still have them every single time I go compete. I actually think
Really?
it's good to have them, to be nervous going into it, because I think it helps you get that kickstart on the adrenaline rush once you're actually doing the event. I mean, I've had them from day one, especially my first competition ever. I think that was the biggest one I had. It gets less with every competition you go into because you already know with experience what you can expect. But there's still always just you're nervous a little bit because you never know who's going to show up that day. There may be a last minute sign up, or maybe somebody's dropping out. You never know.
What was your first comp? Because it wasn't too long ago, right? You just started doing all this?
Yeah, so my first competition was in June of 2019, my first Strongman Core sanctioned competition. June 2019, I was War on the Shore in San Diego, California. And that was actually the show that got me qualified for nationals.
Cool.
I'm gonna throw this out there. So like, I still get competition jitters too, and what I found is I really enjoy headphones because I can literally block everyone out. I used to be able to do it better like by myself, but like having actual like music, I don't even need to actually listen to it. Just I don't need to listen to the crowd, and that helps.
I don't know.
No?
My brain don't function that way.
I've tried the headphones, I've tried listening to music.
Yeah.
Doesn't really do much for me personally. So I just like to hang out with the other strongman competitors and talk until it's my turn to go.
Fair. So let me ask you something. So when you hear people yelling at you, when you hear cues, when you hear like whatever it might be, like I'm the type of lifter where like no, I have to go here in my head, and it actually helps me a lot more to not listen to what other people are. I mean, what's your mentality on that?
You mean during the event itself?
Yes.
Oh, my brain automatically blocks everybody out except the judge.
So you go into the
It doesn't matter if my coach is in the crowd screaming and yelling at me. All I hear is the judge because that's the important person when you go to a competition.
Yeah.
And that's actually a shout out to all the judges. Please, competitors, don't forget.
Yep.
You know, the person that's going to give you the down command is your judge, not your coach.
That's important.
That's entirely important.
I've seen it a few times. Actually happened yesterday during the competition. Competitors just going down on the implement and just putting it back down, and I'm like, I didn't even give it down command, so it didn't count. No rep. So.
Okay, so same Lexi, Tampa Lexi wants to know if there's any noticeable difference in culture between strong men and strong women.
Boy, this is the whole reason we even did this thing.
I think there is, and not just between the two genders, but also between the weight classes.
Oh.
Yeah. If you've ever noticed that the heavyweight competitors seem much more easygoing and happier at the competitions, and I want to chalk it up to that middleweight and lightweights, we have to sometimes drop weight. So we're already hungry, you know, I want to say hangry actually. So it's not as enjoyable for us until we get to the actual competition itself. But yes, I think obviously we're all competitors and it's stressful for everybody, but I think certain weight classes are a little bit more intense, and I want to say it's the middleweights.
The hanger is a real thing though. Can't discount that.
Yeah.
So this is not really a question because this was submitted in the form of a sentence. Peeing on the platform.
Pee on the platform. I remember my first time when I peed on the platform, and I was absolutely ashamed, and then I realized all the women do it. It eventually happens, and it doesn't have anything to do with, oh, I've had kids before or not. It's just when you push yourself beyond your own personal limits or the limits you think you have, eventually, you know, one thing has to give, and for the females, it's mostly peeing. So,
Yeah.
And guys do it too. It's number 2 for them though, so it's not peeing. I've never seen that before. But so yeah, me and Tanya actually have been discussing ways to create underwear that would absorb that. So for anybody out there,
Shush! What are you doing
We're
with
cutting
it?
that out. We're cutting that out.
We ain't cutting anything. We do not edit. But like touching on that, like it's really personal choice. Like I don't have a uterus. That happens all the damn time. It's like I don't even know the word in English. Incontinence.
Incontinent. Yeah. Incontinence. Yes.
With the SC. CS.
C.
C.
E-N-C-E.
Can't speak. I'm doing hair too long. Anywho,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
that
oh.
happened.
Oh,
So I had to make that
3
personal
different languages
choice.
in this room. Not that I just realized.
Huh? What?
Well, I assume you speak Austrian, yes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So English, Spanish, Austrian. Do you have
German.
German too?
German,
Look
yeah.
at that.
Yeah, like English is not my first.
We're
Like, I
here.
didn't know all the words.
all foreigners.
But yeah, I think it's more so personal choice because I knew darn well that was going to happen because when I was doing Muay Thai, it's like if I took, you know, a teep to the gut or if I just went way hard on a kick, there'd be a little sploosh going on there. So I had to make that decision like, all right, we're strongman lifting heavy weights. Am I going to pad up or not? And I decided I'm going to be that person that wears her granny panties and pads all the time. So poise or depends, just
Depends,
sponsors,
yep.
please.
Okay. So whoever's asking these questions needs to ask them better because this is just post-comp depression? Question mark.
I think that was me.
So this actually came up because we the competition yesterday. A couple of the competitors were not too happy with their placings. I want to say, and with how the show went down for them. Post-comp depression is an actual thing. Happened to me after the Arnolds. Made it all the way to finals last day. It's a big deal. Only top 4 get to go to the finals, and then I placed 4th again, which means no podium. You don't get a medal. You go home with nothing, literally nothing in your hands, and you just competed at the Arnolds. So I was quite depressed for a while, and what I was doing is I was reliving every single event that I did in the last 3 days over and over again, and questioning myself and playing through what if scenarios. Well, what if I would have gotten one more rep, or would have done this faster 2 seconds, would have gotten 3rd place. And at the end of the day, I told myself, it's not going to change anything. The placing is done. I got to move on with my life, and I should learn from what happened this weekend. It's building that experience. It's building that knowledge of what works for me during a competition, what doesn't work for me, and going from there. I know that I PR'd in every single event that weekend. Didn't beat the other 3 competitors, but that's not what should matter after competition. You should look at yourself in the mirror and be like, did I give it 110%? If the answer is yes, then you should be happy with what happened.
I had a very different experience with that because I podiumed on both of my first competitions that I've done, but then afterwards it was more of a depression like, okay, all the months of work going into that, the day is over, it's done. Now what do I have left? Now what's next? That was the kind of depression.
Well, that's when you find the next competition. You know?
Or the next thing.
Find something
So
harder.
her specific thing, and so I'm speaking as like her coach, and strongman coach, was I'm of the belief that whatever you put in strongman or anything, you will get out of it what you put into it. So like what I put or what you put into or she puts into strongman, I know for me it is a lot of mindfulness, it's a lot of preparation, it's a lot of foresight. Let me plan ahead. Let me do this. In doing that, it allows me to have more of those things in my everyday life. And not everyone puts the same thing into the sport. Like maybe my approach is a little bit different than yours, and that's fine. Maybe we get similar results or completely different results. But for Tanya, it was very much so that like, okay, so I have enough of these qualities now. What other qualities is it that I would like to sharpen or engender? So for her, it's okay. So at this practice, I'm definitely going to come back to it. What's my next practice?
I need to rabbit to chase is what I learned after this last one.
And that's exactly the term that you use with me.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So you already answered this one for me. You both did actually, but this is let's just ask it anyway. Let's get another way. So my question as a coach, because I've coached a number of women and we had to work around a little bit different, was all right. How do I work around like periods and weight cuts? Because diuretic hormone, you're gonna be like holding on, you're gonna be bloated this day, this, that. And I was really curious. I wanted to know like if there's anything that you do, but you told me.
So yeah, ever since I've become a more serious competitor, ever since I invested more time into lifting, I actually stopped having my periods. So, and it's totally normal. Talk to my OBGYN about it. Nothing to worry about. It just happens if you're constantly under so much pressure and you constantly train.
Miami.
Am I
Miami.
allowed to beat them to death? This is interrupting. Oh,
It's gone. Oh, that's
Are you
okay.
done?
That's kind of
Are you
nice though.
done? Okay.
So,
Let me know.
so anyways, can't really speak on the topic because I just don't have the problem.
Same.
An honest answer is the best.
But I guess
Yeah.
like I remember when I did have a period.
I do remember.
Way back when, that the blow. Actually, I can give you a little bit of insight, not so much on the weight cut part, but at least like from doing something athletic at the time, because that's back when I was like heavily into Muay Thai. And there were days where I would show up to class, and about 5 minutes into the class, all of a sudden, like, the bloating hits, my hips are fucking killing me, the cramping starts up, and I'm like, goodbye, guys, I'm just gonna sit the hell down right here on the floor, because, like, pushing through it was fucking pointless for me at the time. I wonder now, though, with a different mindset, if I would have just, like, gone through it.
Just said screw it and do it anyways.
Probably.
Yeah.
I was a bit of a bitch back then.
So what I did hear from a couple of the other female competitors is that they actually, so they plan ahead. Let's say, you want to do a competition in 5-6 months. They actually adjust the time frame they take their birth control in, so it will push their period to make sure it's not within that week or the week prior to the actual competition.
So you gotta be on the
But
pill
that's
now.
an absolute long-term plan, and yes, you have to be
And
on
you
the pill
have to
for
be
that.
on it, because if you're not, it's
So-
like, that shit can show up early or late.
Yeah.
That is fantastic. I remember once reading a long time ago that the Russians would do what was called something like pregnancy doping or something. It was for their
What?
endurance athletes, where like basically they would they would force a pregnancy and then basically.
You're talking about the post-pregnancy hormones?
Yes.
Which increases the strength, yeah.
Whoa,
Heard about
what?
that? Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
do go on.
So if I'm not mistaken, nothing was ever proven. I can't prove this happened. But like,
Russians, of course you can.
but the mechanisms by which it would work do exist.
Yes, I've heard that from, once again, female strongman competitors. They've had children, and immediately after, once they started training again, they did tell me that they felt increased strength. And they do say it's because of the post-pregnancy hormones.
I think I might have messed up shutting down the factory, bro.
Okay. So and again, like I hope we get better questions. We get better phrase
let's
questions.
go backwards
Rest
here a
days-
little bit. Let's go back here. Let's go backwards here a little bit.
Go for
Something that I suffer from, you know this because it almost happened at Manatee, is not even just females, but like people in general. If you have any kind of these weird like health issues like I do with the diverticulitis, you can't plan ahead for that one.
Mm.
If you're trying to cut weight, or if it's the day of the competition and you get hit with a flare up of whatever one of these little like ailments, the hell does one do at that point? Try not to die. Nothing. No, it's
Just deal
Deal
with
with
it, I guess.
deal it as best as we can. I'm thinking for
I mean,
myself in the future.
at that point, I would think to myself, how important is this competition to me? Is this gonna get me anywhere? Is this gonna get me to nationals? Is this gonna get me to an Arnold's?
Yeah.
If I'm already qualified, then I wouldn't
Bow
I wouldn't
out.
compete. Yeah,
To balance the risk to reward.
exactly.
Okay,
So,
so that's
yeah.
a good way to put that. Finding the balance.
So the way this next question was worded was rest days, active recovery.
Okay, rest days. Yeah, I take 2 rest days a week, usually Thursdays and Sundays. Closer to competition, about 3 or 4 weeks out, I start taking 3 rest days.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's actually really
You
beautiful.
rest.
I know,
What
right?
the hell is that?
Those are active rest days, though. I gotta admit that. So it's not that I just don't do anything that day. I do some form of cardio. I go hiking, swimming.
You cardio?
I know.
So that's not
Slow
unlike what
cardio.
I was saying earlier.
So active rest days is pretty much the same. I also do a lot of mobility work and stretching. especially with some of the injuries that have occurred over the last couple of years. It's become necessary for me to do certain exercises daily for my glute and my IT band. But yeah, it's not. There's never a day that I just don't do anything. That's become really rare. Unless I'm on vacation in Miami, then we just
We're
do
just
this.
getting your hair done and judging competitions and eating guava for the first time.
I'm gonna springboard off that one. I've got numbers. I was showing you like the fucking nerve damage I got in this arm. So, what is your favorite injury, and like your most embarrassing injury?
Do you have a favorite injury?
Yeah,
Like any country.
there's like a story behind it that you're like, I can look at this one and be like, yeah, I got this one while I was fucking back in Nam or whatever.
Well, I haven't been in the military that long.
Okay.
Just so you know.
Listen here, man.
I can't say I have like
A
a
favorite
favorite or one was a crazy story.
Yeah.
So at nationals, I did have a lot of pain in my leg, and after running the yoke, and it was one of the last events, and they thought I'd broken my leg. Literally, yeah. I was in so much pain. I could barely walk. I was hobbling around. Ended up in a boot. So I went to nationals to the banquet where we got our awards, and I was wearing a dress, a high heel, and my other leg was in a boot. So I'm sure it looked really funky, but I was set and bound to wear a dress like all the other girls there. Come to find out, it was actually half-torn labrum in my hip, and I found out I need a hip replacement. But at this point, I told myself, I don't want to get my hip replacement right now. If I do it right now, then the recovery, it's going to take forever. I mean, 6 months to a year, I'm going to lose all my strength, and I honestly don't know if I would come back from that. So it's already broken to a point where it needs to be replaced. I might as well ride it out as long as I can.
I actually feel pretty similarly about this torn pec, where I was like, okay, like I could just get everything else stronger, or I could like get it attached, but like how long am I going to be on the bench doing that for?
Exactly.
Is it even like necessary, especially like we don't bench. I mean, we bend, we don't bench.
I actually do bench now because besides professional goals of making it the world's strongest woman, etc., I have my personal goals in the gym too. And one of them is I want to hit 315 on the bench for a set of 3 by the end of this year.
Okay, well now I gotta do that. I was there before the torn pec, and now I got. Okay, thanks, Gabi.
You're welcome. So I actually hit 300 not too long ago, thanks to Nick Best. Shout out for him.
Oh, that's so funny. I hit 301 pounds just last week though with this.
Right. So I'm getting close. I'm inching up there.
Okay.
So.
Okay, so talk to me about. Someone's asking a question about intuitive eating versus tracking and your feelings on them.
Tracking macros, my feelings on it. It's a lot of work at first, I must say. It's definitely a lifestyle adjustment. Over time, it does get easier because you already have the numbers in your head. You know what to eat when. It's all just building habits throughout your life. And at first, it was very stressful to me eating every 2 to 3 hours because I was not used to that. I was one of those, I'll eat whenever I feel like I'm hungry. Now I eat 6 to 7 times a day. My body obviously has adjusted to it. I do feel hungry after 2-3 hours. I do want to eat something. Do I count my macros when I'm on a trip like this right now? Absolutely not. I enjoy my life. Otherwise, it would really cut into my social life. But throughout the week, I do try to track everything that I'm eating and making sure it helps me with my workouts. So I carb cycle throughout the week. So if I know if I have a heavy deadlift session coming up, I'll carb load the day before, and then the day after on my rest day, I'll have a lower carb day.
So, first off, so on my story, Mark Plummer just is noticing you on my story.
Ah.
Throwing that out there.
What's up, Mark?
Yeah. If he's listening to this. Send me some of your skincare products, Mark. And so here's a good. So we went out to breakfast earlier. You mentioned this, so I want to know your thoughts as a female strength athlete. Your experience with the male gaze. With you mentioned having to wear long sleeve shirts or when you're out in public because you look a certain way.
People gawk.
Absolutely. When I first became bigger, I thought it was great. People always, approaching me, talking to me. people staring, whispering. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. But eventually, after some time, it got to a point where it was a constant thing. And the bigger it got, the more attention I got. And if you know me, you know that I'm not all about attention. So at some point, people would start touching me without asking permission to.
Excuse me?
Yeah, big place. I will not go to any Walmarts anymore.
Whoa.
Because that seems to be the hotspot for all the weirdos
What
who,
the hell?
who think it's okay to come into your private little bubble and just touch you without asking. So
Walmart's
yes.
also a good place to beat their ass down and
I was gonna
kind of
say.
get away with it. Like, all right, you want to start exchanging hands? We can do that.
So I've made it a point, if it's not too hot out, yes, I will wear long sleeve shirts and pants, just to avoid the entire situation.
Down to pants, okay.
Down to pants, yeah.
Damn.
But it got way too hot today, so I
Kind of
couldn't.
making me want to slap people in public. A little bit more. Damn, that's kind of bullshit. It's too hot out in Florida for that.
Okay, so I think we're at a crowd question, but I mean, I've got plenty I think I want to ask you. So, what do you find are habits and tricks that you still use from your bodybuilding days now that you're a much more serious strength athlete?
Habits and tricks.
Like you don't get a set of medial doubts like those doing like powerlifting and bodybuilding.
You don't?
I
I don't know what you're doing wrong. No, definitely the excessive work. I think a lot of people are much more focused on their main lift of the day and cut their accessory work short. If you think about it, we have all those little stabilizer muscles in your body that can assist you with any lift that you major lifts that you're doing during a competition, and strengthening those up will help you improve your overall strength. So I do anywhere from 4 to 6 accessory exercises after my main lift every single day when I train. And I can definitely say from experience that coming from the bodybuilding world, that it's helped me tremendously in strongman competitions.
I think Louis Simmons said it best. He said, if your main lift could address your weak point, you wouldn't have a weak point.
Exactly. I like that.
Yeah.
Look at you. So
And
smart.
that's Louis. That's
But you remember that, so.
Okay, so having been experienced with many different styles of training, what do you find to be principles that are the same across them, and ones that you use that have brought you the most success?
Same as from bodybuilding.
Yeah, same as from bodybuilding to strongman to
Okay.
powerlifting to whatever it might be.
I mean, separation upper and lower body. The day you do deadlifts, you'll do back exercises. The day you do chest, you'll do your tries. You know, just separating them. I used to do it in bodybuilding, same way, and it works for me still now with strongman. So a lot of people do a pull-push day and then separate upper and body, upper and lower. I do that as well, and I used to do that at my bodybuilding days as well. So my training style itself has not changed much, except that I have now an additional day of like specifically focusing on strongman events. So that's definitely bled over. What was your second question? I forgot.
So, things that you find that are the same throughout all the different training methodologies you've used, and ones that say, well, this was different, but I still use it.
I don't know if it has so much to do with training, but drinking water.
Drinking water. Okay.
Drinking water. I know people probably know when you prep for a bodybuilding competition, you try to drink a gallon of water a day, and that stuck with me, and I definitely think that it helps me in my lifts, because I noticed on days that I didn't drink my gallon of water, my lifts suffered tremendously.
Yeah, I feel like that's not even like a body. I feel that's just like I think everyone should be doing that.
Should be, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's more hyper-focused when you actually bodybuild.
Fair.
So I don't think you focus on powerlifters. I don't think they focus on that as much. So.
Unless you're trying to bloat for the next day,
Okay.
So I met this one strongman with her in B, and she always had her nails done beautifully. She would get them done like maybe sometimes as frequently as like twice a week, because she would constantly break them on the implements. But she said, I'm a woman doing this very like manly aggro sport. Like, you need to remind myself that. So and I get that, To some extent, I don't have that lived experience, but like, what do you find or feel that there are things that you do to retain your femininity?
I mean, right here, right now.
Well, she's getting her extensions
Best
done,
example.
so
Yeah.
Would you say the best way to retain your femininity is to get your hair extensions done by Tampa Hair Extensions?
Shush.
100%.
Oh my god.
No shout out here at all. No, I mean, that. I also get my nails done. And maybe I can give her some tips. If she doesn't want to break her nails, I take nail and hair supplements. And I also don't get
Noted.
regular nail polish. I use gel nail polish, which doesn't chip off. And it's a little thicker. So it actually helps you out with your nails thickness.
All right,
So
let's have a conversation about these gels because I was attempting to reclaim my femininity over the last couple of months,
mhm.
and I thought to myself, all right, I'm gonna start getting my nails done because naturally they grow out like railroad spikes. I used to be able to use them as screwdrivers. I got the gels done like 3 times
Mhm.
at Manatee, World's Strongest Manatee. I broke 3 nails that day. I broke another one last week, and I broke another one yesterday. They used to never do that. I'm not sure what the heck is going on with these things.
Oh, we did talk about this earlier. So, here's the catch to it. When you remove the nail polish, do not go back to the nail salon to get it done. Do it at home. Use extra strength nail polish remover. Let it soak in there and scrape them off yourself. Because at the nail place, they will actually use one of their
The
what's it
Dremel.
called? Yeah,
The Dremel. Yeah,
So,
that happened the
and-
first time I went to go get the stuff off.
yeah. And what happens is when they do it, they always go a little too deep and they take the top layer of your nail off.
Mm.
So eventually, the tip of your nail, you can actually feel it after doing it multiple times with them. It's gonna be so thin that you can just bend it.
Yeah.
So do it at home. Take the nail polish off yourself at home, and don't let them use that at the nail
No
place.
more Dremel. I'm not a fan of that thing.
Other things I do is try to put dresses on and high heels in the summertime.
Only in the summertime?
Only in the summertime.
Only.
Because other times, we're long sleeves.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, probably it. Yeah.
Long sleeve, floor length gown just to go out.
No, and also, I do my makeup on a regular basis. I don't think I have a problem not looking feminine yet. I hope it never gets to the point of. I've heard that from multiple pando. So.
So I posted a little video of you getting your hair done, and this is facetious, but someone asked, I think it's because you're on that cushion, do you need a booster seat when you're
Oh, that is so cute.
I'm also a giant, so.
Yeah, in comparison to her, yes, I'm definitely a dwarf. So.
Okay.
But it's also super comfortable, just so you know.
It's very nice. It's very cozy.
Fair enough. So talk to us about your military career, I guess.
Okay. I've been in the Army active duty for the last 8 years. Joined in 2013 as a combat medic, 68 Whiskey.
Oh man.
Went to training first at Fort Jackson for basic training, and then for my medical training to Fort Sam Houston in Texas. Took about 6 months. Then I went to my first duty station, Fort Bragg, North Carolina. I was there for 4 years. Then came down on recruiting duty orders. So I became a special forces recruiter for 3 years, and I did that in Hawaii. I was responsible for the entire PACOM area, so that was Hawaii, Korea, Guam, and Japan. Got to travel out there to Korea. It was beautiful. And now I'm the only female strongman competitor on the U.S. Army Warrior Fitness team, and I've been doing this for going on 2 years.
What drew you to service, I guess?
So as it's pretty apparent, I'm an immigrant. Came from Austria in 2007. And America has definitely provided me with some opportunities that I don't think I would have had anywhere else. So I just wanted to show my appreciation for this country. So I joined.
That's a fantastic answer. Yeah.
Considering we're all either immigrant or from immigrant families here.
I'm first gen, so.
Our English is a little.
my English is not very good looking.
I really do think that a lot of people take the freedom that Americans have for granted.
Absolutely.
So if you're one of those that wants to give back, I would highly recommend it. Not saying join the army, but look into any of the military branches. We all have our benefits. You can do pretty much any job. As you can tell, I'm I'm a pro athlete for the army, so I've made my passion into a career.
How great is that, then?
Wow.
It's awesome.
That's a great sales pitch. You might have gotten me in high school. I'm just saying. Those guys are trying to sell me off like do 20 pull-ups. We'll give you a T-shirt.
I mean, it's a free T-shirt though.
I suppose.
I'm not gonna lie, I think I would have been suckered in with that one too.
Actually, I
fun
did
fact.
bring you a T-shirt. I brought you
What?
Warrior Fitness Team T-shirts.
Oh, did you? Oh, yeah.
But never mind. Now you gotta do 20 pull-ups for it, I guess.
Oh, damn it! I can do one. I've got one
2
legitimate
weeks
pull-up.
from now, we're about to be shipped out somewhere. We're gonna have Gabby to fucking blame.
Please don't send us back to Cuba. I don't want to go there.
I didn't even go from Cuba. What
That's
did I
right. That's right. Sorry, my bad. Not even gonna say where you people are.
Oh, that's cool.
It's just an assumption, man. We're in Miami.
This is true.
That's how this goes.
Okay, so we already answered about the difference between, so culturally between strong men, strong women, and you also said so between weight classes. So what would you say that culturally that is, both in general and regarding strength sports, between American and Europeans?
Europeans? That's a tough one. I think Americans are culturally more open-minded.
Okay.
Over here, for example, being gay is not something that's frowned upon. I think in Europe we're a little behind on that, as well as so I'm specifically from Austria, and it's very Catholic heavy. So I think we are more close-minded to that, as well as to getting divorces. Whereas here in America, I don't know if I know somebody who is not divorced. So.
Fair.
That's entirely. I remember going over a friend's house in high school, and I was like, "Is that your stepdad?" No, that's my dad. I just assumed they were divorced.
Junkyard.
No, I just assumed. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't think I met anyone whose parents were like.
We're also in Miami.
This is true. This is
Ugh.
true.
I think of the thing with my dad. Prison. Gang.
So, okay, so that's a cultural thing.
I really think so. I mean, my parents have been married for almost 50 years now, and they're still together happily. Yeah, that's a long
Well,
time.
you added happily as a last word, so I'm gonna put a little asterisk on that. they're still together, happily.
Happily. Gotta make sure they're stuck with each other. They're not going anywhere.
So that's difference. So culture between America and Europe. But what would you say the differences in regards to perceptions and practices in strength sports?
Specifically in strength?
Yep.
You know what?
If there are any.
That's an excellent question. I mean, we did produce Arnold Schwarzenegger.
This is true.
So
I mean,
I was gonna say. I told someone.
I'm out.
I told someone I was gonna
Thank you
hang
for
out
your
with you.
time.
And they're like, so she's calling herself Austrian now?
Yes. So for anybody who doesn't know, my Instagram name is Gabi _ the Austrian Oaktress, and that's because Arnold Schwarzenegger, who's also from Austria, is the Austrian Oak. And I had to explain it I don't know how many times already because it wasn't obvious. I thought it was.
Yeah.
So
Gotta pass the torch at some point.
I gotta let you know. So you're now one of my favorite people, but like I think Austrian Oak, I think Schwarzenegger, I think that log from the Arnold,
Yes.
and then I think you.
Aw, well, that's sweet, kind of. I'm a third, okay. I'll work my way up there.
I'm sorry. Did you remember earlier we were not her favorite people?
Okay,
I can't remember.
This is out of context. Okay, I said that Monica, she's a heavyweight pro, and I said she is the sweetest person I've ever met, and that's
Lovely, I'm sure.
That's absolutely
We
true.
were right here.
That's right.
You two took offense to that.
Dang.
So Monica. Yes. Anyways.
So wait. Did we cover the difference between?
Yeah, I said Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No. Okay, so differences is what I said.
Okay. I do think that Europeans, smaller countries, right? So most countries actually sponsor their athletes.
Oh,
Come into competitions, right? That's big.
Does not happen here.
Does not happen here, exactly. But I do think it's just because we're smaller, right? And in the US, there's a lot of pro strongmen.
There was
More than there is like from each of the countries over in Europe. So they take more effort and they put more money into it to represent their country.
There's a saying that I've heard amongst strength coaches, which was Americans play sports to get in shape. Eastern Europeans, they get in shape to play sports.
Ooh.
I kind of like that.
It's true. Is it? Tell me I'm wrong.
I don't know because I didn't get into sports until I came to the U.S.
Alright.
So I grew up on a farm. So yes, I did a lot of heavy lifting of odd objects already as a kid.
So like already strongman.
Already strongman as a little kid, but
That's
I didn't get into lifting until I actually joined the army.
That's
So-
fantastic. So I come from campesino. I come from peasant stock. Is what I come from, right? So my family, so down the line, just peasant farmers is what we are, and I think Tanya's got a similar sort of background in yes, no,
No clue.
No?
I think fishermen and doctors. That's
fishermen
it.
and doctors. Yeah, I think that's part of.
It's very
Did
opposite
neither.
spectrum, but okay.
That's Cuba.
I think that's part of the appeal of strongman to a lot of people is that. So yeah, so like Mike Bartos equipment and all this like high end, like oh this is super specialized and whatever. Like yes, that's great for the sport, but I don't think there should be a huge financial barrier to entry for the sport of strongman, especially considering that like this was the very beginning of poor man's sport. It's like okay, I can't get into that fucking fancy gym with all the machines, but I got this keg and I got a lot of grit and I got a lot of sweat.
Mhm.
Just get creative with what you have at home.
It is
That's
quite
That's
fun.
mostly
And
it, yeah.
last year during the shutdown, what did a lot of us do?
This is true.
Grab
and
whatever the
I
hell we had
remember- yeah,
available. We made it work.
I remember I was busy because I was like, all right, let's go back to my old notes. So I don't know if I told you this, Gabi. So they call me Junkyard because back before you could just buy equipment online like that really easily, it was okay. Do I have a spare $300 to $500 for this piece of equipment and shipping? Do I need this circus dumbbell that bad? Do I need this that bad? Or you could go down to the junkyard, get yourself 2 propane tanks, a piece of piping, go to someone that knows how to weld, and just get it done.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how that name came about, and it kind of just stuck. I've been running with it ever since.
I love it.
Absolutely.
treating
It's
me
great.
well.
I mean, you have a hat and sandals
This is
now. For
true.
goodness sakes.
This
Hang
is-
over.
Shout out at Junkyard Clothing LLC. They're just serendipitously they share the same name. I was like, send me one of everything. I need this. But you know, I think that's a good next question. So especially like during lockdown, or let's say that you might be deployed somewhere where you may not have the best equipment. What would you say is the best way to make the most out of a lot, or the most out of a little?
Most of the little.
Yes.
Just get creative. Go online, YouTube, great resource, or just ask around. Because most strongmen that have been in the sport for 20 plus years did not have the equipment. So just reaching out to them, most are very approachable, I would say.
Shout out Clint Darden.
Two,
Clint Darden.
just ask them, hey, I'm here in this area, this is all I got. What can I do, right? So for example, if I was to deploy ammo cans, water cans,
Ammo cans for sure.
yeah, fill those up, and press them over your head like a circus dumbbell or a kettlebell or something. And we have soldiers who are constantly deployed, and some of them are in areas where there is not a gym. So they find their own creative ways outside to grab something, a telephone pole, use it as a log,
I've used a log like that to do lunges with. So
No, there you go. See?
very very Matt Kroc or Janae Marie Kroc-Leski of me, but yeah.
One of the fun things that I like about the sport, though, is that you can legit just go anywhere and like, oh, that's heavy. I wonder if I can pick that up.
Mhm.
And that's the thing now, and you can sometimes take it home, find it or make it steal it, and just have it in your backyard.
What would you
Rocks.
say? What would you say is the most creative example of that you've both seen and have done yourself?
So I did have some gym equipment, but I built my own biking press.
Ooh.
So I didn't have one. And what I did is I used this squat rack, 2 barbells, used plates on one end with a clamp to attach it on one side, and then went on the other side and used it as a biking press, if that makes sense. There is a video somewhere on my Instagram showing it.
Just the other day.
Yeah, and people have used it, and I love it. If you don't have that available, you can also use a landmine attachment, for example, to build a Conansville. I didn't have a Conansville available, so what I did is I put a box, 2 plates, landmine attachment, barbell with a ton of weight on it, and then me just walking in a circle. There's also a video. It's actually pretty funny because my friend is following me with a little step stool so I can put it back down. We're just walking in circles. But I mean, it's one way if you don't have a cone as well at home.
You know what? I've tried something like that, but I'll always like lean into the side of it, so I can't do that with a landmine. I'm just gonna knock the thing over unless I have someone.
I thought it was gonna get knocked over, but it did not. Yeah, it depends on what plates you use. I used heavy bumper plates, and they kept it in place. So.
How heavy?
I think I used 2 or 3 of them.
Maybe that was the issue.
Just look at the video.
I'd sooner just Zercher carry like a heavy yoke or something, but like.
But it's I still
It's
do
totally
feel it's
different.
different.
Totally different.
So
You're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fucking run around in a circle.
Florida, we have sand.
This is true.
We have lots of sand. And what was I struggling with Tampa Bay Strongman Classic?
Was the
Sandbag.
Yep.
Went to the thrift store, got a couple of like cheap $5 like either faux leather or just well constructed purses. And I had a friend whose birthday was coming up, and I figured, I should take my friend to the beach. So I took my friend to the beach, and I had the bags in the trunk of my car. And before we got to leave, I was like, "Hey, do me a favor and just wait here for a minute." She's like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing. Don't mind me." So I go running over to the sand, and I start piling sand into these handbags, and come running back out of nowhere with 2 handbags full of sand that I turned into
awesome.
proper throwing bags.
So Gabby, do you have any like discount codes for like Cerberus or these companies that make like throwing bags?
kind of wish. Servers, if you want to sponsor me, listen up.
Oh, well, no. Well, what I was gonna say is that like, okay, so like, if you're gonna go like 250 plus in weight, totally get an Iron Mine bag, get a Cerberus bag or whatever. But you know what I used to do?
What?
Go down to the fucking Army surplus store and get a seal bag.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're fucking $20, and they're gonna fit all the sand that you need. Buy 2 and get them like fucking line them.
Could not agree more.
So,
Mhm.
Absolutely.
We have definitely found out that
Now, if
there's
Cerberus wants to
there's a
offer
way.
me something, I will totally retract my statement because it's military grade issue, man. That's lowest bid. It's trash. That's what that is.
Don't listen to him.
I like how we're all just trying to get sponsorship.
Pretty much, man. That's
Damn,
all.
it depends. Help me.
I think Dave Chappelle said, he said, man, I have done ads for Coke and Pepsi. I'll say anything, man. Pepsi paid me most recently.
Nah, I do have a great sponsor, Kind of Fit, Kind of Fat. I'm one of
Yes.
their athletes.
They're fancy design.
I do love them. The product is really quality, and I wouldn't say that just for anybody. If I don't like your product, I'm not gonna put it out there. But Kind of Fit, Kind of Fat, excellent designs. I think it speaks to a lot of people, especially in the strength community, that you can be fit and fat at the same time.
True story.
Depends on how you like define those terms. Like, I know I definitely have found both a lot of strength athletes and general population, like they're training, they're putting up, and like they have this weird negative self-image, like especially with fat and whatever. Like I know fucking top 10 like national and world athletes who think they're fat, and like they're like no, you're not, dude, you're not, you're fucking.
So that's actually something I'm struggling with is body dysmorphia. Especially coming from the bodybuilding community, being on that stage and looking $1 million, you know? Yeah, I mean shredded. You can see every muscle, and now I'm not that. So I do look myself in the mirror every day and ask myself, what happened? Where did your 8-pack go? You know? When I do drop weight for competitions, if I ever have to, it's usually 3-4 pounds. Yes, I can see my abs, but nothing like it was on stage. So I do struggle with that actually on a daily basis. So maybe another reason why I'm wearing long sleeve stuff. And I honestly think I'm not the only one. I think a lot of people who lift have that issue. Because they may have been, one year they may have been on top of the game, and now they're not anymore. They're always chasing that.
Or even, so we were talking about this the night, what weren't we, with, because as soon as you become a strength athlete, your circle kind of changes. Your idea of the average person becomes a little bit skewed from what is average for general population. Like, I don't believe I'm a large man. I'm not. I'm fucking not. I am literally a lightweight strongman. But then you have to keep in mind, oh wait, a lightweight strongman is a light heavyweight boxer. So it's this weird sort of disconnect where like I'll go, let's say, to a commercial gym, or I'll go out like grocery shopping, right? And like not that I pay too much attention, but like, oh, these don't look like my people. These don't look like my part of the normal curve distribution, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
That's definitely a weird one.
So when people call me big or huge, and then I think about all the heavyweight females that I'm competing or about to compete against in August, and I'm like, no, this ain't huge. You have not seen anything yet. But yes, absolutely. I think I'm so used to only being around strongman competitors now, because that's my job in the army, that sometimes when I do go out in the regular public, I don't even think about it. I don't think that I look very different to them. I'm just me, and my strongman friends, they all know me already, so there's no staring going on. So yeah, can't agree more with you. You got some input on that?
I think I noticed more so the difference with the conversations that I have with people that are not strength athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I'm new to the sport. The people that have known me that are in my inner circle or that have been in my circle for the last 10, 15 years, they're not still familiar with athlete Tom, because I've kind of taken a step back from everyone just to focus on being an athlete and my business. So now whenever I do get to catch up with them, they're excited for me and they want to hear stories of what I've been doing. But at the same time, I see that look where they don't get it.
It's a sort of weird thing where like it's like prima facie, like on the face of it, it's not. It shouldn't be weird that I packed my lunch and that my lunch is like lean meats and fucking vegetables and like let's say I don't know like a fucking Fairlife chocolate milk thing, right? With fucking extra protein in it, right? That shouldn't be weird, but it is for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And like ultimately, like what it reads to me, and maybe this is me being an elite as fuck, is like, oh, he's taking charge of his health and he's planning ahead. Typically, I find that those are the people that are judgmental or that see that as like odd, are the people that lack that sort of consistency in their daily. But again, that could just be me being an elite as fuck.
I don't even know what to say to that.
Yeah.
he just called himself elite as fuck. I don't think I can trump that.
The people in my circle that have known me for a long time, they know I'll go on and off diet and all that stuff, but I think more so how serious I am about it now, how much discipline I have now versus 2 years ago with I'm self-employed, I run a salon, so if you're 15 minutes late for an appointment, you don't realize how much that throws my schedule off of the day, because now I didn't eat before I left the house because I thought that I was going to be at work for X amount of time, have enough time to drive to the store, do this, do that, grab that, meal prep this before I left the house, run laundry. For me personally, because I'm self-employed and everything runs on a schedule every day, other people really don't get that, which is why lately I've been so do not fuck with my time. I will not accept that anymore. If you're going to be 5 minutes late, let me know that you're going to be 5 minutes late. That 5 minutes is the difference between me starting laundry or eating before I leave.
Yeah, this is a fantastic point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think so. One thing that I tried to teach you, that I also tried to teach other athletes that are in my charge, is to not expect yourself to rise to the occasion, but instead to rely on yourself to fall to the level of your systems. So in my car, I've got backup food, in case, oh shit, I didn't get to, because someone fucking no-called no-showed me, because someone canceled, okay, so that threw off this plan, what's plan B? What's plan C? What's this? Okay, let me try to make this work as best as I can. And to that point, be oh, why you got a fucking protein jug in your car for emergencies? What's all this fucking beef jerky and electrolyte powder?
Just in case.
Just in case. I don't know, man. Shit.
I will say that's been another evolution of me lately. The last couple of months is learning to roll with the punches better when something does not go according to schedule, and just not having the expectation anymore. I'm not expecting for people to show up or not show up. It's just whatever is going to happen is going to happen. And instead of stressing out about it and freaking out about it or getting hard on myself, it just is what it is.
I do the same thing. I pack my entire day's worth of food and drinks. I have it with me, because with the army you never know. All of a sudden training pops up, or somebody wants to see you for something, and all of a sudden you're there for 4 or 5 hours longer than you expect it to be. And that's a matter of 2 or 3 meals at that point that I didn't eat or wasn't going to eat. So with me packing and preparing, takes me 10 minutes at night the night before, but then I'm prepared for the next day and I don't have to worry about at least that point of my day. Then I make sure that I get my nutrition in. So.
Yeah, and I'm sure time is extremely important to you, especially like, serving. I mean, what's that thing? It's 15 minutes prior to 15 minutes prior, something like that.
Well, luckily with us being on a team, we don't have to be 15 minutes prior to 15 minutes prior, but that's definitely a regular thing in the Army. Yeah, because I kind of make my own training schedule because I am by myself in a sense in the gym, because I'm the only female strongman competitor. So as long as I'm there from between 1 and 5 and knock my training out 3 hours, I'm good to go.
So what is your day-to-day like in terms of like, I mean, you get a lot of freedom to create that for yourself, but...
The afternoon, absolutely. In the morning from 9 until lunch, I'm usually at my company headquarters. Now I've got some admin stuff. I'm in charge of soldiers, so I have to take care of them as well. Set up events. The Army does sponsor certain strongman competitions, so I'm their contact point usually to set that up. Playing out my weekend days. And then I go train. Then I go home.
And then it's just nothing but Baby Yoda memes for the rest
Baby
of the
Yoda
night.
memes. Gotta entertain my followers.
Absolutely.
I'm here for you.
I sent you one about Baby Yoda being stepped on. I think you gave me like a frowny face once.
I was not entertained.
Yeah.
You do not kill off Baby Yoda. Never gonna
I've
happen.
because I've
One
only
bastard
ever
tried to
seen
hit
a
me.
happy Baby Yoda memes until then. I was like, that's a new one.
No. And to all my followers, it's never gonna be Grogu. You can send me as many memes as you want to. It's always gonna be Baby Yoda. For life.
Baby Yoda's the only reason I even bothered to watch Star Wars.
Exactly.
Damn little bastard. I think that was you too. You had so many memes coming out that I was like, well, here it is.
I've only seen 3 episodes of The Mandalorian. I was at my buddy's house, and like we watched the last 3 of that like most recent season. So like the name reveal and like all of this, and then the character like leaving. Spoilers, but fuck you if you haven't seen it now, right? But yeah.
No worries. We're gonna strap him down on the chair and gonna make him watch the
Giggity?
Dude, I was gonna say.
No, we're gonna make him watch
When did
Baby
this
Yoda.
turn
Yeah,
into
no,
like
no,
other
just
podcasts?
cut it out there. We're gonna make him watch. Cut it off right there. Cut that off right there.
We're done. We're done. Strap him down to the chair. We're gonna make him watch. This could not be PG-13 at all because we're children.
I mean, duh, we are. Any sort of, do we leave out anything? I mean, anything you can think of, Tanya?
Probably. I gotta fully admit, I'm brain dead at the moment because I did not think this one through. I probably should have started the podcast part when I started doing her hair, because after anyone else experience this, if you're hyper focused visually on something for 4 or 5 hours trying to then speak or separate your mind from it, I just go fucking brain dead. Like usually at work, I'll have to, when I'm wrapped up with my client, I'll have to sit in the salon and just stare at a wall for about a half an hour before I can even drive.
All right, I think I've got one more. I think this is a good one. This is a good one to end off on, especially like where we just came from. So, like I said, I mentioned, like my friend Melissa, also being a very, very competitive strength athlete, she has a rule. Your height can start with 5, but your weight has to start with 2. Talk to us about your sort of romantic life, or what is or isn't there, and what that is like as a very competitive strength athlete.
What I'm looking for?
No, what that's like.
What's that like?
Yeah, so what does that look like?
The
for
dating
you?
life
Sure.
of a strength athlete, as a female strength athlete.
It's hell.
It's non-existing. No, it's tougher. I definitely gotta say that it's tougher to find a compatible partner who is okay with you training for hours on end at the gym, who is okay with you being able to lift heavier, look bigger, and get approached in public by pretty much anybody. Not saying that I'm looking for somebody who is bigger than me or stronger than me. I just need somebody who is very self-aware and very confident in himself, to understand that this is my job, this is my livelihood, this is what I do right now, this is what I love to do, and I am not willing to give that up.
Well, Gabi, my therapist says I'm too self-aware, so I'm just throwing that out there.
The fact that you have a therapist tells me a lot about you. Moving on. No, I do think it's tougher for us strength athletes out there to find somebody who's okay with our lifestyle. because it takes a lot of time and effort and discipline, motivation, and it does take away, I want to say, in some shape or form from time with your partner. So unless your partner is also a strongman competitor.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
that would be
That
like,
might work.
it might, right?
It might.
So, but I'm happily single at the moment. That's okay.
Okay. Unless you've got any more questions, honey, I think we can wrap this up, or
No, I think we're good to wrap it up now.
okay.
Awesome.
We've only got 2 rows to go.
And I guess this is where we title drop like whatever name we came up with.
We don't have a name. We
No, well,
literally
like,
just
we
did
go
this
back
because
in
it was
editing.
one
We
of
go
those,
back
like,
in editing.
we edit
fucking
nothing.
drop it right here. Okay.
This is real. We're doing it raw now. Okay.
Always.
Do I get strapped in before or after it's raw?
After I can press the button, turns out. No, this was fun. This is one thing. Like, we started a conversation, Gabby and I, and it was one of those like, yeah, we can talk about that while I'm getting your hair done. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, this has been a
Literally just
long
gonna
time
hit
coming.
record and be like, all right,
Yeah.
we're just gonna talk some fucking bullshit about like the strength scene and all the chaos in it and all the fun parts of it, and it's different
Definitely
for
lots
everyone.
of fun. For anybody watching who is not a strong man or woman competitor, I would
suggest you
recommend
are.
looking into it.
Yeah.
It's definitely very different from any other sports that I could talk about. Bodybuilding was very cutthroat. Strongman, I want to say we're all a big family. The sport kind of makes you a brother or a sister in a sense, and you're immediately welcome. And that's what actually drew me to the sport itself.
Same. That and the cool
Sense of
implements.
family. And the what?
The cool looking implements.
Oh yeah, the implements. Absolutely.
I saw Kara, Captain Starbuck, on Instagram. I think it was doing a log press, and I was like, I want to do that. And then she actually, I went to go to New York, and she was like, here, try this. And I was like, this is freaking awesome, best trip ever.
That's right. So Gabby, if you
Yeah.
so I as your coach, I'm Tanya's strongman father, and
Dad.
Kara is her strongman mom. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
she's our love child.
That's not weird at all.
Not one bit. Daddy, thanks.
No, we already talked about that. We already talked about.
I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
No.
I don't know what I just walked into here. Just a bystander. But at this
I
point,
came here to get my hair done, guys.
I do want to give a huge shout out to my original strongman crew, who has pretty much taught me everything and put up with me for several months as I was prepping to come on the Warrior Fitness team. The team is called Lift House 808. They are out in Honolulu, Hawaii. If you ever go out there and you need a place to train, hit them up. They are more than welcoming. And that's it.
If you're in the Tampa area and you want to give Strongman a try, I was telling you about this because I'm taking off like a month or so to work more on my salon and business and all that stuff, but I'm still going to be dabbling around in it and trying to find which gym I'm going to do this at, but doing kind of an open invite just for not strength athletes or anything, but just average gym goer or a friend of mine that follows me that wants to try out some of the strongman implements just at really, really, really low weights just to get a feel for them and see if maybe this is something that they want to try. Message me or I'll be posting updates on it, but probably like once every other month or once a month I'm going to do kind of like an open house, like either, I don't care, my backyard, gym, whatever, just empty keg, empty log, maybe a yoke to pick up and just try it. It's fun.
I remember when when I started strongman, oh yeah, this is a God, what's the name of that fucking company? It's out in California. God, there's a log. The log in my gym started at 200.
Ooh, buddy.
Yeah.
67.
Yeah. So you had to lift the fucking the girl 10-inch log until you got up to your comfortable to get to 200 to even try to attempt. And then it's a completely different clean and it's a completely
absolutely.
different press.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's definitely what I had to do was start there and then okay, so now I'm warm enough to do the fucking. It wasn't pitbull. It was not a pitbull log.
But I think that would have motivated you even more to get up there faster because you had to use the women's log.
I mean, I'm not too insecure about it's a woman's log, whatever. You know what? If you look hard enough, you'll find actually a video of me getting stapled by was it an 8-inch log we had to do in Tampa. We only had to clean it. I love Donnie, but what a weird event that was. We had to clean it. It was 260. I can clean and press a 260 12-inch log, no problem, right? But this fucking 8-inch log or 10-inch, whatever it was, I brought it up, and my body's like, oh yeah, this is easy, like the last time, right? And we stopped right here, 6 inches away from my face. And the log said, nope. And I fell, and I cracked a rib.
Ooh.
Still took
Oh,
second,
nice.
still took third in that competition.
Of course you did.
Tied for, they let me do it again. They let me go again. I ended up tying for first. And then I went third overall on that one. So that was a fun one. I still get noises on the other side of the rib because everything's just contracting and trying to protect that area.
Oh, the stories, the injuries.
See, that's what I meant by your favorite injury. That's what I meant by your favorite. That's a fun story behind that one.
It is.
Yeah. So I cracked this rib back in 19.
I cracked one jello wrestling in my early 20s here in Miami.
Go.
That I did.
There you
Still won the match too.
go. We've done jello wrestling after this?
Could. My back hurts. I'm standing up doing hair for hours.
Well, I mean, I think that's just about
We
it.
covered the important things, which was basically like, hey, this is fucking community. It's awesome. We all have our little issues and things that we need to work on.
Peeing
I
in our
love it that
pants.
people peeing in our pants, obviously. The jitters before the events, all that good stuff. And the most important part to me was community. Like, you're my coach, but you become one of my best friends. You're freaking
family.
awesome. I remember walking into Tampa Bay Strongman Classic, looking in the building, being like all nervous and shy at first, and I see you deadlifting a car, and I'm like, what the is going on here? This is amazing! And now I'm here, like 2 years later, doing your hair in Miami. It's so rad.
Oh my god, that's where I met both of you for the first time.
Yes.
Look at
That's
that.
where we all met.
Look at that. Look
Yeah,
at the little
began
circle that
2
goes
years
back
ago.
together. But it's cool. And then we had to go backwards because Kara was the person who I saw her doing it on Instagram, and I was like, I'm driving to Boston. Do you mind if I like stop and visit you in person and I can
Oh
check
my
this
god,
stuff out?
maybe we should just all do the Tampa show again. Just I was yeah, you're right. That one we can cut out.
That's another podcast. Anyway, what's it called? But no, it all just comes full circle to community and friends, and this is a fucking awesome sport, and you get to play with some pretty cool implements and do some pretty fun stuff, and you're competing against yourself, not so much other people, and like you said, you're competing against gravity, really. That's the bitch of it. So, with that, closing this off with that open invite to, if anybody wants to try it out, message me. We'll either figure it out, either a one-on-one or we'll get a group going. But, thanks for tuning in, everyone. Thank you for Junkyard being here, because if not, I don't think I could have, double dutied this one, doing hair at the same time. And thank you to Miss Gabrielle for coming out,
Anytime.
hanging out. Till next one, kids. Bye-bye.
Bye.